agenda on the hall for this?
There was,
Yeah.
I had a few out there.
Somebody must have taken it. You can have mine. You sure? Yeah, I can pull it up on my computer. I can go out there and look too. There you go. Thank you.
Good morning. I will call the November 5th, 2024 Norfolk Planning Commission meeting to order. Inform the public of the Open Meetings Act in the northwest corner of the building. And ask for approval, or excuse me, ask for roll.
Yep. Waite,
Here.
Sock,
Here?
Bryant, Hupkey, Franklin, Kuby. Here. Griffith, Mason,
Here.
Ronfelt.
Here. And ask for approval of the full agenda.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second.
Shoot, we're missing one.
Anyone enter the meeting?
Okay. We'll have to revote. We'll get all 5. So. All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
And ask for approval of the minutes of October 22nd, 2024 Planning Commission.
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion is second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
And consideration of the resolution number 2024 PC7 approving a conditional use permit for an oversized accessory building on property addressed as 2006 Hillview Drive. And we'll read this into the record. Be it resolved by the Planning Commission of the City of Norfolk, Nebraska, that Steve and Tina Beller are hereby granted a conditional use permit to construct and allow an oversized accessory building subject to the following terms and conditions. The total maximum permitted square footage at ground level for detached accessory buildings on the property described above shall be 5,900 square feet, which includes the proposed 4,200 square foot new building as shown on the attached site plan. No commercial use shall be allowed, and the accessory building shall be used for personal storage only. There shall be no storage of hazardous materials. There shall be relief from the architectural compatibility requirement provided in section 27-287, subsection 7 of the Norfolk City Code. Pursuant to the Norfolk City Code, the conditional use permit shall run with the land. Failure to observe and maintain the conditions and restrictions of the conditional use permit shall be considered a violation of the Code of the City of Norfolk, Nebraska, subject to penalty as provided herein, and may be grounds to review, including alteration or termination of the permit. All procedures and standards outlined in section 27-56 of the Norfolk City Code pertaining to the conditional use permit shall be observed, and the conditional use permit granted herein shall be subject to the provisions of the Norfolk City Code that provide for an appeal to be taken within 15 days of the decision of the Planning Commission. And there shall be compliance with floodplain regulations and any other applicable city, county, state, or federal regulations that may apply.
Make a motion to approve a conditional use permit for an oversized accessory building on property addressed as 2006 Hillview Drive.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Resolution 2024 PC-7 is adopted.
At this time, I'll open up the public hearing at the request of Geary Investment Company, LLC, and Stephanie Wolf to consider a zone change from R3 and OD to C2 on properties addressed as 106 North 9th Street and 105 North 8th Street. Okay?
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Connie Geary, and I am one of the persons making the request. We also purchased the behavioral health, well, I guess that's part of this request here. And that is zoned office district, and we went in and tore out some of the concrete and replaced it that was bad. And we are planning to use that for parking for Black Cow Fat Pig designated. I mean, we won't keep anybody else out of there, but so that when we lose parking, which we will be losing, where Dr. Verbicki is building the Women's Health Center. And he did come to the Vehicle Parking District meeting. We had invited him there just to find out what his plans were and what he was doing. And he shared at that time that they will be using 80 spaces every day and need 80 spaces. So when asked about, right now Black Cow uses that quite a bit. And through this process, I did take some times when I would think about it, it wasn't anything planned or anything, but just I would be driving by and it's like, well, I should check how many cars actually are parking here. So I would check in the street in front, the street on the side, and then just behind the gated area of the courtyard and count those cars, as well as any that would be not in the daytime, but in the evening in front of like the chamber and then over in that lot. And my counts ran anywhere from 39 to 80 cars. Just depending. Probably more often than not, it was in the 50s range that the parking that was being used there. So realizing after they visited that, and they, just said basically, not, and I don't want this to sound bad, he wasn't saying it in a bad way. Their project manager said, well, we're not obligated to provide parking for other people here. This is our property, and I get it, and I hadn't even thought about it, that we were still, we didn't say anything or put anything out, in which it's the public, and they will park a lot of times wherever they will park, but didn't make an announcement to anybody that, hey, this property's been bought. Originally, when it was Jay's Steakhouse, Jay had gone to the Salvation Army and asked, can we use this parking lot? And so they had not a written agreement, just a gentleman's agreement, sure, go ahead and use it. And then Michael went over as well and talked with, when he moved in, to make sure that he could continue to do that, Michael from Black Cow. And they were, said it was fine. And they said the same thing. They said, well, when we're not using it during the day, we're going to probably be needing all of our space. Of course, we won't care if people park there. But basically, we have to realistically look at it as that parking is going away. So, and it is, and he's right, it's not their job to provide parking for somebody else. And then we've also got the iHub Center going in across the street, and that's going to be bringing lots of students and faculty down here, as well as the general public. It's going to be open for them to use. So I really see that a lot of the street parking is available to anybody. So a lot of that is going to go away. I went by on my way here and I did count, and there are actually 4 spaces on the north side of that fencing. There are 5 spaces along the street. And then on Norfolk Avenue, there are 22 spaces. Out of those spaces, 3 of those are handicap spaces, which, it's still available to people who use it, and I don't know how much it's watched, if people actually do not park there, when they come. So just there is, we have a need. So purchase the behavioral health, and we've redone that, and we will pick up 39 spaces there. And with that as well, we had also talked to some of the residents around there about whether they would be willing to sell so that we could pick up parking there as well. And no interest except from Stephanie. She originally wasn't interested and then had contacted us back and said, it's a good cause. So we appreciate that. That was very kind of her to do that. And so between the two, we would like to do those 2 spots that are in the red as parking. So there's 39, and we would pick up 13, I think, in her space, which doesn't totally replace what we're losing, but it's a good effort, I think, to keep Black Cow going the way it is going. It's a nice restaurant, and I would hate to see it not be able to continue. So Any other questions for me on this?
Will you have signage there to kind of direct people where to go? Because it's kind of off the beaten path a little bit.
Yes, I've got signs ordered right now. We went and cleaned it up, and we did put a little bit of a fence on the west side, and we're gonna hang signage on both. The main purpose of that is that I actually ordered the cow and the pig
Oh, okay.
from Love Signs to go on both sides of that, because I think people will identify that, and then it's gonna say parking on there. Waiting for those signs, and I will put some, just solar lighting on that fencing. It is well lit right now at night. I've gone in there, and there's nothing that would make you feel that it's not safe or anything like that. And Michael is gonna post it on his website, probably as soon as I get the signage up. He's gonna put that out there, that parking is available.
Where do you project the traffic to come from, as far as not necessarily car traffic, but the foot traffic from the parking lot to the restaurant? Do you anticipate, I mean, people are gonna walk where they walk, I understand that.
I would guess the alley. I'm just gonna guess, because it's, the people are people, and that's the most convenient. So I would guess it's gonna be through the alley. I mean, we are considering, as a group in the downtown, looking at doing there's gonna be what am I wanting to say? The archway, that's the word I'm looking for, that's going to introduce downtown from the west side, west entrance. And one of the spaces being considered is mid-block in front of like the NP Mart. So it could be that with something like that, and with that we discussed to improve the area and, make it look nice. So it could draw people that way as well, through the parking lot and to the sidewalk.
Will this be private parking for Black Cow or public for anybody?
We're not going to enforce it.
Okay,
in
I'm
any
just
way.
curious,
No,
yeah.
it will be open for anybody.
Connie, what's your timeline for the other lot and taking down that house and putting concrete down there?
Well, I was hoping to get it done this fall yet, but I don't think it's gonna be till spring that house is removed and that parking lot gets done.
Okay.
So for now, which, I don't know, when I had talked with them, Dr. Verbicki's representatives had said that they were going to fence off the Salvation Army lot the 1st of September. It's November, they haven't done it yet, so we're still, I don't know, sometimes plans are, as with everything, they don't go as quickly as what you think.
Do you have anything drawn up for that other lot yet, as far as
I
what
do.
you? Okay.
I do.
I can get it after, oh, yeah.
I do have something drawn up, yes.
Any other questions for Connie?
Thank you.
Thanks. This is a public hearing. Anyone like to speak in regards to this topic? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing and open up for discussion.
I feel like this is the next best option for them as far as parking goes, especially with what they're gonna lose. So, granted, yeah, it's off the beaten path a little bit, but it's what they have to do to make sure they have parking for their customers.
Commendable on the efforts of you guys to.
Yeah.
We know parking downtown is not the greatest to begin with, but, we have a thriving downtown, and I think that's only a benefit in all aspects, so.
I completely agree. I'd say Black Cow's, probably everybody in town uses that for something or another.
Yeah.
And
If there's no further discussion, I'll make a motion to recommend a zoning change from R3 and OD to C2 on properties addressed as 106 North 9th Street and 105 North 8th Street.
Second.
We have a motion and a second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative. Motion carries.
I'll open up the public hearing at the request of Getaway Properties LLC and Pile Management LLC to amend the amendment to the Center Ridge Village Plan Development on property generally located at 702, 712, 714, and 716 Glenwood Boulevard. Morning.
Good morning. Laverne Schroeder.
Nathan Burchek.
I'll just let you sign it. What we have for you this morning is we have a revision or an amendment to a planned unit development over there, right behind Lou's Thrifty Way over there. You have the plat in front of you. And the proposal is to take the lot that's crosshatched in there to the south and have that removed from the PUD to the north and added, so we can add it to the property where Lou's grocery store is and plat that property and enlarge it for them, so for building purposes. You have any questions on this? This is along Glenwood Boulevard, and that's where the store.
Sorry, just to clarify, so this is amending the plan development to the north, right?
To the north,
Yeah.
that's correct. Yeah,
Right, Val.
It's taking lot 4 out of there.
Yep.
moving it.
Yep.
And then, and this is the final plat for the amendment, if approved. Any questions on this? All right, thank you. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. So the reason we're looking at doing this, since AWG purchased Affiliated, or they merged together in 2016, the warehouse right down the street from us has allowed semi-load buys. So we can purchase anywhere between 18 and 24 pallets of a certain product. And it gives us huge discounts compared to, just buying one pallet at a time. We're trying to compete with the national companies here in town, and we just don't have the storage for 24 pallets of drinking water or gallons or, tuna. You could just go down the list of dry goods. And as far as I understand, we are pretty well capped on our building because of the roof line. We're at the maximum size we can get between the lot lines and going to the east. So we were looking at possibly putting a building for dry storage back there, where there's currently a old semi-trailer and a gravel lot. We're looking at, you can see it from the aerial view, it's an old Affiliated trailer for storage as far as equipment. But we're hoping to put a building that would be for dry goods. So it would be heated, cooled, climate controlled. And then, just for extra for the holidays, for, general, for solo trucks and stuff like that, so.
Would a building permit change any of the circumstance with the lot as far as like needing to pave it or anything like that?
So I believe, they wouldn't have to pave any of it, it would just be the concrete for the building, just the footprint and the footings.
Okay.
Val, I don't know if the, maximum impervious would come into play with that or not, but I think that can be addressed when you come in with the building permit, and we can go through that. But
So-
if this is the conversation of the plat, sorry, Val, what do you have?
C3 allows up to 80% impervious coverage, so they're not going to be close to
So
that
you'll
with
have-
just adding a building. So, because they're combining, essentially, this is the plan development, taking out that bottom piece from the plan development to the north, because they could not build on that being in the plan development, so that's why they're removing it and making this amendment, because the northern properties still need the plan development reliefs, and so that's why it's an amendment and not just a total abandonment of it. So that's why we're here today, just as a little further explanation as to what's going on. And then the next item is actually the plat that puts all three of those pieces of Lou's together into one. So it's taking out the setbacks of the rears and sides and that sort of thing so that it can actually fit in there. So that's kind of the general premises of why we're here today.
Thank you, Val. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Anyone else like to speak on this topic? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, open it up for discussion. Yeah, I think makes sense. Obviously, I think it'll be a great thing for Luz to.
Just an empty space kind of right now, so.
Good use of the site.
Yep. There's no further discussion. I'll make a recommendation to amend the amendment to Center Ridge Village Plan Development on property generally located at 702, 712, 714, and 716 Glenwood Boulevard.
Second.
Motion and a second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
And now the consideration of the final plat of the Vertex edition.
If you take a look at the plat up in the northeast corner, that reflects the land that you just taken out on the plan unit development. And as you can see, we have about 160 foot to the west there, we have a 10-foot easement. That was the existing easement that was in place going down the original lots. Also, we have a 10-foot easement farther west of that, which follows the existing power poles clear down to the south property line. And we also have provided an east-west 10-foot easement, which also follows the east-west property line. And also shown on here, on right below, just straight north of the southeast corner, you can see it says a new drainage easement. That follows the ditch line that exists there at this present time. Steve wanted to know where it was at, asked for it, so we went out and located it, and we provided it on this map. And I think it's satisfactory. Okay. And then the rest of it, we're just combining the lots all in one tract. Does anyone have any questions on that? No. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Vern.
Can you see this?
Take a motion.
Make a motion to consider recommendation of the final plat of Vertex edition.
Second.
Motion and a second.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
And consideration of the recommendation of the final plat of 44 West subdivision. Anyone here to speak on this?
Morning.
Good morning.
Basically, we're just looking at dividing this property, and the buyer, Mr. Hermsen, has worked with Steve in the city to work up this final plat, and we're just looking forward to having an additional business out in that area. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you.
Thanks.
Is there a subdivision agreement?
Any specific concerns with anything?
No, we'll talk, just to talk through a little bit. Along the north side, we've asked, that, I guess, the existing owner and the new buyer provide for some potential extension across the north side of the property for access. And so there's that 50-foot there, and then we also have the potential to extend our city trail system on that north side, and that's that extra 10 foot of trail easement there. Access to the east, there's an existing DOT approach. It's one of those loops that come off as a function of the Nebraska Machinery industrial park that's going in there. They've had to move that loop south a little bit so that loopy right-of-way there, that curved right-of-way, is the right-of-way where the new approach comes in. That 50-foot space across the top of lot 2 is where that existing DOT driveway currently exists, and it spans across lot 2. So there'd be no street development required as a function of this plat. There's, there will be a subdivision agreement that will talk about water and sewer. Again, with Nebraska Machinery, they're bringing water and sewer up 43rd, which would be the north-south, that north-south line there, or the east line, running north-south would be, yeah, there it is. That's the 43rd Street. So there's water and sewer in there. We will, the new owner, as he develops that, will have him extend some city sewer service on the south side of lots 1 and 2 to the west. And so that'll be discussed in the subdivision agreement. That's how they'll get water and sewer over to lot 1. Our solar field and our big, the property to the west of this, I don't really ever see street, water, sewer extending west. That's our big solar field. Probably be there at least 30, 35 years. Beyond that, it's city property, wellfield protection area, so it'll never be developed.
Thank you, Steve.
There's no further discussion. I'll make a motion to recommend the final plat of 44 West subdivision.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Please vote.
All commission members present voting in the affirmative, motion carries.
Any other open topics or concerns toward current and future planning for the city? Seeing none, I'd ask a motion to adjourn.
So move.
So, it's 23rd Street, where, they're Middleman's, Omaha Avenue, Michigan. They're putting that street in, for 23rd Street. So Nick Hoffman had some questions about the inlets and stuff like that, but he's coming in this morning, because I had some other questions for him. And it looks